Today we'll be covering some ways higher education business officers can help support better strategic decisions despite the uncertainty that COVID-19 has brought to us all. We have been busy helping our clients answer complex questions coming down from the president's senior leadership board, finance teams, and even rating agencies. Today we will be sharing an example of how scenario planning can increase confidence in uncertain times as institutions weigh alternative impacts of online strategies. I'm Kevin Kuhar from the Higher Education Group of Synario at PFM. We work with higher education institutions for over a dozen years, from Wofford College to Texas Tech, quickly model and present credible analysis. One decision many institutions are facing is how they are meeting the needs of at-home students. While some colleges and universities were relatively prepared to migrate their curriculums online, most were not. Shifting to online learning can be an expensive process, and many schools are making rapid short-term decisions without analyzing the long-term financial consequences. With 2.4 million undergrads studying online in 2018 and growing, online learning is becoming a relevant and attractive avenue for students and institutions alike. COVID-19 has triggered a massive shift in how education is being delivered to students, and the future could hold positive financial outlooks for institutions who are able to capitalize in today's environment. For this video, we will focus on three possible scenarios. These scenarios are: first, the sanguine outlook. This is almost a best case scenario where the virus impacts are over quickly and we return to business as usual before the fall. The second scenario are closures through 2021. This scenario includes expansion to online offerings to increase long-term revenue streams. The third scenario also includes closures through 2021, but in this scenario, the institution chooses to keep offerings traditional, foregoing long-term expansion through online offerings. These examples are illustrative. The impacts for each scenario will be defined through your knowledge of your business and collaboration with your stakeholders. I've defined the different impacts that I want to consider and hooked them up to corresponding initiatives and selecting where the impact is on the financial statements. These expense impacts are just one type of impact. We can make other impacts in their corresponding tables. A capital impact, as an example, you would make assumptions for sources of funding, uses of funding, and debt assumptions, such as the term or interest rate. The same concept applies to the other types of impacts we want to make, including employee impacts, enrollment impacts, bed impacts, or gift impacts. Once impacts are defined, we can see the impact of each initiative on the financial statements, layered into the projection or viewed on the margin. The learning management system, as an example, I can turn on and layer those impacts into the scenario, or I can look at it on the margin and just see the difference impacts. There's impacts to salaries, benefits, non-personnel expense, even depreciation and interest on the income statement. On the balance sheet, I have impacts to my deposits at the bond trustee, land, buildings, and equipment, debt, and of course the cash balance. Scenario becomes really powerful when we start to mix and match different initiatives or decision points and seeing the impacts on our complete set of financials. As an example, I can turn on the learning management system, I can turn on the efficiencies in online learning, or I can turn on expense reduction and see the impacts of all of them on my complete set of integrated financials. These individual initiatives can then be bundled together into scenarios. Let's take a look at the closures of 2021 plus online scenario. When I open this up, I can see the different impacts that I've chosen to include or not include in the scenario. For this, I've included my online learning management system. I've also included the efficiencies in online learning. Let's say you wanted to add another impact that is not currently considered here. Maybe you want to see what the additional residence hall would mean in this scenario. I can turn this on and layer this into the scenario. I can then layer in another impact, maybe an expense reduction, into the scenario, and again, see things updated. Or maybe I want to see different possibilities for what my endowment returns are. Colleges and universities that use this pandemic as a springboard to enhance their online learning initiatives could see long-term financial benefits. Higher education finance leaders suspect an enrollment cliff in 2025. An online offering could help shore up future lost revenues. With Synario, finance leaders can quickly build in changes to online strategies while incorporating the effects of other goals, initiatives, and economic conditions. Using long-term planning through this crisis is the first step to understanding impacts of what COVID could mean to your institution. We've seen successful finance officers continuously use scenario planning and financial modeling as a routine part of their regular business. Doing so enables better collaboration and agility to seize opportunities and avoid threats. Keep an eye out for our upcoming videos on different areas of higher education that are being impacted by the coronavirus. The old way of doing business will change as campus leaders, boards, and accreditors move to focus on long-term sustainability and remain competitive in the changing environment. The good news is that financial modeling doesn't have to be hard or time-consuming. You can get a scenario model up and running for your institution in 30 days to start sharing valuable insights. We're here to answer any of your questions and discuss how financial modeling can work at your institution. Feel free to reach out to me directly at kuhark@synario.com or visit us at synario.com. Thanks.